Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to this episode of the Hello Africa podcast. This is where we have conversations that stir up change, bring out our world, as well as give visible hope. Now, I'm a little over myself today because I'm in the city of Bujumbura in Burundi, and I'm joined by a very amazing man, and I want him to introduce himself.
Asante.
Yeah.
Hello Africa, my name is Ruragahiye Irving or Mula. Wakenya wanasema money. I'm not called money. Mula is just a name given by music. Mula mwa. Yes.
Okay, tusalimie kwa Kirundi hata.
Ndabaramukije mwese Rwanda babakora kukurikira bari muri Kenya. Mwese Abarundi aho muri hose turaramukije kandi kare muri Hello Africa.
Come on guys, how sweet is Kirundi? I mean,
yes.
So Mula, we have been having a conversation on leadership. This is like our season 1. This is like our episode 4. And we started with talking about leading at the edge of chaos, what leadership doesn't look like. We talked about the history of leadership in Africa and how it has affected us as a people. And today we want to continue that conversation on mindset versus capacity. Because sometimes it's easy to have the capacity, but now the mindset that drives that. So I just want to hear, what are your thoughts, especially on just that topic, mindset versus capacity?
I think it just came in a season where I was also contemplating and thinking about the same thing. Because I think
that's good.
Someone once told me, this few days, someone told me, you can either have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset.
That is crazy.
Fixed means it's you think who you are is who you will be. You say like that. Growth means who you are today can be better tomorrow.
Can be better tomorrow.
And tomorrow will be another person.
Yes,
so I think there's a big difference there of capacity and
mindset.
The growth mindset. So and in Indiana,
like you have to have a balance of both.
Yes. But what I've realized is that sometimes people think they don't have capacity because they have a scarcity mindset. So it's a mindset that only sees what lacks.
So it's the mindset that drives the capacity.
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
For example, when you look at the story, when you use a biblical example in Matthew 25. 14:25 to 30.
Yes.
It talks about, the talents, and the master gave them talents, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2. You'll see that the only difference that they had the capacity. All of them had the capacity to multiply. But the difference was only few got the mindset of multiplying what they had. They had gotten what they had, 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 4. But the 3 of them said, okay, we are ready. We can multiply this. It's all lies in the mindset that people have.
The mindset that people have. That's really good. You already talked about like a growth mindset, and I would love us to talk about those two mindsets. There is the growth one, and there's also the servant mindset, and what entails this kind of mindsets. So we can start with the growth one.
Those are really good questions. Why these questions? So growth mindset, I think personally, I won't say like books or anything, but I think when you have the servant mindset, then you grow. Yes, because servanthood is a position. Is you put yourself to a place where you want to serve people, and then from that point, you become valuable. Basically, when you become valuable, there's more added value to you. Let me give a simple example. If I come and say, how can I help you with what you're doing right now? Is I come with the mindset and say, I want to serve. But as I serve, I will learn how to use the camera. I will learn how to do sound.
That's good.
So now I'm learning, I'm growing in my capacity now.
That's good.
Yeah, so I think the servant mindsets give room to the growth mindset.
Oh, that is really good. And I love how you use the example of like the people who are given the talents. And we see that the 3 of them were really willing to put in the hard work, put in the persistence. And I think that that's what also a growth mindset entails. Like someone who is really willing to give into the work, someone who is really willing to be persistent. And I want you to talk about yourself and the vision that you have for Burundi and the mindset that has allowed you to get into that space. Because I definitely know that there's somewhere you came from and where you are now and what has allowed you to get to where you are.
I think it's good when you look at the internet and you hear stories of people who came from this place. Oh, we lived in the slum. Then now we're here. I think we love to hear those kind of stories because they give us hope. Not hope. I'll say they make us dream, but the process of that make us really achieve. For example, I grew up in an area. It's the slum. It's called Burundi, an area whereby you wouldn't have everything. For example, let me give a very simple example. When I was younger, I was a little boy. I didn't have toys. You know, some people will see people, they buy them cars, toys,
Yeah.
For me, I didn't have that. But what I would do instead, I would go and find, how do you call it? Is when you take the soil and you make it a person. So I'll make, how do you call it? Clay.
The clay.
I'll make a clay.
The modeling.
Yes, modeling, and I'll make a person. I'll make cars. And that, from a young age, gave me the creative ability of finding solutions. When I don't have toys, I'll create something.
I love that.
So in Burundi, I think with the history, I think it's good you guys touched on leadership and and the history of leadership in Africa.
Yes.
Because our past has somehow put us in a place where we have the victim mentality.
Yes.
That the last guy in the story of the talents had. He said, I was afraid. So one thing I would say personally, I had to come to a point and say, okay, where I am, where I lived, doesn't define who I am.
Yeah, that's good.
I come from Burundi, the slum. Yes, but that doesn't define who I am.
Who you are.
You know?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm not afraid of what's ahead. Because the guy said, I was afraid because I thought you would do ABCD.
Yes.
So because sometimes I think we have this kind of fear in our head, in our mindset, that would block us. So I think that was the first thing I would say.
Yeah.
Because that would open up the way of saying, okay, I'm not a victim anymore.
Yes.
Because I think we've come to a place where we feel a victim. Everything that doesn't go wrong, we'll be like, okay, the government. Oh, wow.
The corruption
is everything. It's like, oh, the other leader, it's them, it's him.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you sleep? Oh, it's the neighbor. Why didn't you eat? There's no this, there's no. So there's always this victim mentality.
Yes.
And these now block you and me and every single young man.
Yes.
To not see what they have.
Yes.
To don't see the clay that they have.
That is really good, Mola.
So if you can see the clay, basically you can create the toy.
You can create it.
And create it.
Yes.
I think for Burundi is mostly having this mentality of, hey, we don't have toys.
Yes.
We have clay.
We have clay.
And God gave us clay.
Yeah.
And now I'm talking about when I say clay, clay might be in different ways.
Come on.
It might be your capacity to speak, it might be even your family. Sometimes I think people think growing up in a certain family is blocking you to become this person. I'm like, that's a treasure, you know, that's your clay.
Yeah.
That's formed you, form it and become something that's greater. So I think is going through those different mindsets, and especially for Burundi, I would say, we have many clays in Burundi. We have our soil is so rich, it's rich. If you eat our fruit, you'll be like, oh my God, what is this? So I think that is already clay.
Really
Let's get a clay and
have it. And I love that you're talking like this because it's not just about Burundi. It's about every nation in Africa. I feel like we have so much in common, and we tend, because of all the misrepresentation that has happened, especially, you know, on us Africans, we tend to see ourselves in, you know, in those eyes. And maybe just to give context, I should have probably shared this before, but Irving is the reason why we are here in Burundi. You know, he has managed to gather, you know, a mass of young people, and they've been trained on leadership and all of those things. And he's one of the people that we look up to, especially when it comes to, you know, the mindset and capacity, you know. And you shared so much about really looking at the clay that we have, you know, and not focusing on, you know, where I'm from, where I studied, you know, my family is this and that, but just saying, what has God given me in my hands? Because I believe that all of us have something. And I feel like if all the young people in Africa would just have this mindset and say, okay, whatever has happened has happened. I grew up there. There's nothing I can do about that. I cannot change that. But what do I have right now in my hands, you know? And this is the mindset that will see the transformation that we want even in Africa. So, Mula, you're one of the greatest servants that I know. What does it take to serve others? The first time I think I heard the word servant was like 9 years, 10 years ago.
And the time that I learned about that was mind-blowing to see how Jesus Christ was a model of that. He was serving people despite who he was, despite what he could, the privileges that he wanted to have, or what he would have with like I want to serve people. And on that, I think that was key for me to understand what is service.
Yes.
And that's key to everything. Let me put religion aside. Let me say, okay, there's no say religion.
Yeah.
I always use this very simple formula. Whenever I see someone, let me see, I see a person who's doing something and I want to learn from them. I change the way I would go and approach them. So before you go and approach, say, oh, you see, I want you to teach me and ABCD. What I would go before I got to them, I would say, I would think, I've been doing this for many years. I would think, what do I have that can serve them?
Oh, that's really good.
I want from them.
Yes.
Or like, what do I have that can serve them? So I found myself in offices working with people that I never thought I would work with, because I didn't go there as a scarcity mindset. I went there as like, oh, I have something already.
I have something already. Wow.
Here it is.
Wow.
And one thing, let me say, everyone has time. There's something already.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Everyone has time.
Good.
No one will say I don't have time. Everyone has time. What about your time? What about your thinking capacity? What about your presence? People think their presence is not something valuable. There are some people, when you go in their presence, you just feel at peace.
Yes.
Get what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I have my presence. Yes, why not? Let me go and be there.
Yes.
And I found myself learning more because I'm like, I've put service really before anything.
Yes.
And then I will learn many stuff. So I'll say, starting from then, say, what do I have that can serve the other person?
That can serve the other person.
Country. Yes.
Wow, that's really good. What do you have that can serve the other person? Because sometimes it's easy to feel like we don't have opportunities. I mean, like, one of the cries in Africa right now is that there are no jobs for the young people. Everybody's like, no employment, the government needs to do something. But really, what are we doing with what we have?
Yes.
You know, and maybe it's time for us to start looking at ourselves as people who actually carry something, because I believe that God has a purpose for each and every one of us, and God made us with something, and we have to start seeing ourselves as valuable.
Yes.
You know, just by being, before you even add something on top, and even just on top of the other. You know, wow, this is really good. Now, there are always resources available. Do you want to talk about that? Because sometimes I feel like we have so many ideas. I have a song, but it dies in my books ever, because I'm always thinking I have to wait for all the resources I need to come before I can actually produce this song. Or I feel like there's so much creativity just lying around, because we feel like until I get to a certain place, and then maybe I'll become that superstar.
Yes.
And then once I get there, and then
and I think that's the mindset shift. So when you look around and you only see lack, that's a problem. When you look around and you only see what you don't have, that's a problem. Because you open up your eyes and see what you have. You have your time, you have the energy.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about physical stuff. I'm talking about who you are as a being. You know.
Yes.
You have all of that.
Yeah.
So start seeing that as a key and as a resource. I remember.
Do you have like a tangible example of a time where you felt like, I actually do not have what I need to accomplish this, but actually went forward?
Yes, many times. I think that's my story every day. That's my story every single day. Oh, okay. There are many stories. I don't know where to start. Events. We do gatherings with young people. I think we just did an event for these young people. We just knew the event. They gave me the event to do it.
Yes.
In less than a week.
Wow.
We had zero money, and we needed 3 million to do the event.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I asked, because it's a mentality, I was like, what do I have? Looked, there's a problem we use, the term we use in Burundi, say, gute kumutwe. It means you cook your head. So for me, it's a lack of something that I always do. I always cook my head. I'm like, what do I have?
Yeah.
What did God give me? I was like, oh, you have relations.
That's good.
The place you find 1 million, you find a friend who can give you something that would be worth 1 million.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So we did the event, was like, we needed more than 3 million.
Yeah.
We didn't have the 3 million, but we did the event. We even got plus 5 million.
That's crazy.
Because I'm not even talking about the money part, but just seeing the results.
Yeah.
But the whole point was, even if you have nothing, and the key, and I feel like I need to share this before we end anything.
Yes.
Another question will come.
Yeah, yeah.
There's more in the process than in the results.
There's more in the process. That's good.
Because the results, everyone can create results.
Yeah.
You know, when you go into Instagram, everyone can create a reel that is let me say 30 seconds.
Yes.
And you'll be like, wow, crazy.
Come on, that's crazy.
But what is in the process?
Yeah.
What did you learn in the process of doing that? So I think that pain of lacking is the key to understanding what you need and what how you need to operate.
That's really good.
Because what you like right now won't be the same thing you like in the next 10 years. What you like right now is a key to what you can get in what you'll be lacking in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So for example, if right now I need a phone, I don't have a phone right now.
Yeah.
If I know how to get a phone creatively, with a growth mindset, if I need a car, it won't be a problem for me. Because I know patience, perseverance,
that's good.
Principles, all of that is a process. Because you see what is happening is like God is after our character more than our results. So process is very important. So as you do anything pay attention to the process. Those are the key moments that will shape the results.
Yeah, that's really good. Pay attention to the process, and because it's really easy to focus on the results.
Yes.
And like I feel like sometimes when we go with what am I getting from this, then we really don't get much from it because we miss out on the growth part.
Yes.
Now you talked about relations, and someone mentioned that our vision is only greater as the relationships that sustains it. How do we build relations?
How do we build relations
that sustain the visions that we have? Because and I also want you to give like the example of just having this relationship between the Kenyan the American team and all of that, and even just what that has brought out.
So I think because there's relation and there's having a sustainable relation that are for a long time.
Okay.
So you can have relations for a short time.
Yes.
You can still have relations for
a longer time.
A long time.
Yes.
But the key is still there. It's still into serving.
Okay.
So into relationship is all about serving each other. I won't tell you there's no other formula I would say.
So the only way to build like sustainable relationships
serving each other
is to have the servant mindset.
Yes, that's the only way.
Wow.
Because let me say this. You won't stay with someone who only think about themselves.
That's true. That's good, Mola.
Right?
Yeah.
So you only stay with someone who's say, oh, okay, did you do this? You're just in that relationship that has a dynamic of serving each other.
Yes. That's really good.
I can even give an example of marriage because now I know what it means. It's like if I don't serve my wife, I'm married.
He's a very beautiful wife. Do you want to shout out to her?
Princia, I love you.
Awesome.
Yes, but most will say if I don't serve her, she'll say, oh, yes, you love me.
Yeah.
But at a certain time, there's this fuel. She'll be like, okay, of course I know she doesn't be like, oh, I'm waiting for you to serve me, so I serve you. But there won't be fuel into it. There won't be passion into it because there should be a service to each other.
A service
and the service may look in different ways. That's why I say, what do you have? Because for example, let me say, Kenyans are just awesome.
Oh, my people.
They make life alive. Everything that is here, you get what I mean?
Oh my God.
That is a service that I don't think you guys do it in a purposeful, intentionally. You just have it. You're just Kenyans.
Yeah.
So your gift as being Kenyans, you are gifting to us Burundians.
Yeah.
Burundians, what we have is
Burundians are warm. They're kind.
Yes.
You're just in their presence. You feel so safe. You're like, I'm at home. I don't have to worry about
I don't think there's
things.
any Burundian who's doing that intentionally.
You just are.
You get what I mean? So I think that's the gift that everyone has.
That's good.
Everyone has something to bring on the table.
Are you talking about embracing who we are?
Yes.
And not just trying to look at, just copying, or being like, if only I was this person, maybe I could achieve this.
Let me say, just look.
Yeah.
Let me give you a...
Please.
The Burundian will put the warm and safe and everything, hospitality.
Yeah.
Kenyan is hype. Everything is alive.
Yeah.
I want to put the Americans. They will say the Americans, they go into the details of putting things.
Very detailed.
You know what I mean? So this is a whole team that is dynamic, that is like moving, there's warm, there's hype, there's details, there's, you know, so it's a whole team. And imagine if we say, oh, we want to be like Kenyans.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get what I mean?
I hear you.
We cannot, but we can serve each other. And that's harmony. Someone won't say university is just a unity in diversity. So that's the university of life, is having the unity as we're diverse, different people and different kind of people. Yes.
I'm really enjoying this conversation. I hope you're learning a lot, as I am myself. And now, Mula, I want us to talk about visible hope. And I want you to talk to especially the people who feel like, I hate that I was born here in Africa. If only I was in Canada, and we find that many young people are actually leaving our nations to go outside because maybe there's greener pasture out there, you know, but then who is left to build here, you know? And what's the hope that we have as Africans?
Before I say about the hope, let me say this. The same potholes that are in Burundi are in Canada.
Wow. That's
a reality.
That's good.
I've not been there.
Yeah.
But I think I've studied the countries that most of Burundians go, most of Africans go to.
Yeah.
They go there, they find the same way. But now when they reach there, they find, oh, it's the same way.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, oh, let's just find something that is better than here, you know? I'm not saying it's bad to be there.
Yes.
I'm saying it's also good to stay in here.
To stay in here, okay.
But I'm saying is, who are you becoming?
Really good.
Because basically it means if you were a person who doesn't have perseverance and patience in Burundi, you think you're going to do a business in Canada.
That's really good.
Because you just change environments.
Yeah.
In Burundi, it's cold, you went to Canada, it's cold. You get what I mean? If you didn't have any perseverance, you just complain another way.
You're still the same person.
Yeah, there's nothing there's nothing that was built up in you.
Yes.
You get what I mean? You just changed the appearance and where you went. You took pictures on Instagram, we saw that. Now when you come, you speak better English. Sorry for this thing, but I'm not even dissing. I'm just saying the reality. When you come, you speak better English. But basically, with time, you don't even love your country anymore. With time, you're even embedded in your culture. I'm not saying you shouldn't go there. I mean, it's not saying you should stay here.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, what are you building in you?
What are you building?
What is inside of you?
Who are you becoming?
What are you becoming as you go there? You can go there, become. You know, you can even stay here, become. That's why I'm like, wherever you go, just become. Make sure there are buildings.
Yes.
There are stuff that are being built up in you, and mostly your character. Are you patient? Are you a person who has perseverance? Are you a person who love others? You know, are you a person who wants to serve others? That's
really good.
Wherever you'll be, now now we won't say we're African or no, now we are international.
Now we're international.
Because with the internet, we can be everywhere at in one place. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Talk about the hope.
Hope.
Yeah.
Oof. What's
the hope for that young boy in the slum who looks at the future and they're like, I don't know how we'll get there?
I don't think they should go in the internet and look for hope. No. Hope is around them. As long as they still breathe, like you said, breathe, like in your nostrils, there's still hope. Because I believe there's one artist once said, if you take an iPhone and you go to the village and you give it to a kid in the village, they won't even know anything about that.
It's true. True.
Until they find out everyone is using an iPhone and they're making something of it. But the kids in the village who has no iPhone, they're just there enjoying the nature. They have life. What do I mean? Where you are, there's hope. We just have to see it. And the point is, let's make sure we're just seeing hope. Because everything around us, someone said news means north. Is they're telling you there's something is happening north, west, east,
south,
and south. And there's nothing has happening where you are. It's like any direction. There's only one direction. There's a direction in you, and it's saying there's hope where you are. As long as you are alive. So just keep on holding on that.
Yeah. Wow. Mula, what does it look like to believe in others? Because sometimes I feel like, how do I mention this? How do we encourage people to come and lift others up when they get to where they were going? Do you get that?
How do you encourage people to lift others?
To believe in others. Because I feel like what you are doing right here in Burundi, is that you have taken on the courage to believe in others, even though you can't see whatever you're believing for right now. But you're like, I believe in these leaders. I believe in where Burundi is getting. You know, I believe in where Africa is getting. You know, what does it take to get there as a person and be like, I'm gonna make the decision to believe, you know, for others, no matter what it looks like.
You talked about history. I think the first thing I think we need is to, if you're watching and you at that point said, what does it take? Or you want to do so.
Yeah.
Is heal from the past. Because I struggled too much with people who didn't believe in me. But now when people came to believe in me, I embraced it. But I had to allow people to come and believe in me. Because around us, there's always this negative information, negative about you. Because everything is around is against our identity. So now when you allow people to believe in you, or when you just be like, I want people to believe in me, I want to be empowered, I want to be, if you give room to people to empower you, you'll be able to give that to others. But if you don't now, you won't. Let me say, I will mention 10 names of people who believed in me, who have taken my hand and gone with me steps.
Let's go.
And now, because I've seen that, now I don't say I'm doing it perfectly, but I can say, oh, I know what it takes. It takes someone to take a hand of someone and bring them with you. You get what I mean? I know, I've seen that being done. So let's allow ourselves to be empowered.
To be empowered.
You know?
So that we can empower.
Yes, and also, even if you're not empowered, heal. Wow. There's God who can empower you and has been empowering you. That's what I'm saying. The process is very key. Because who have you become? Maybe you become a wounded person. And you didn't become a wounded person. You allowed to become a wounded person. Because what happened to you was an injustice. No one. You didn't.
It just happened.
It happened to you.
Yeah.
But now live from the mentality of victimhood. Come to a place and say, oh, now this has happened. How do I respond to this? How do I now allow other people to speak into my life? You know, because I found out if you've never had a mentor, it's really hard for you to allow a mentor to come into your life. It will be hard for you to mentor others.
Wow.
But if you open and say, hey, I'm allowing you to speak into my life, to tell me where I'm wrong, it will be easy for you to do it with love because you've seen what it has done into your life, the process, what it has done. So now you'll be like, okay, now I know what it means, what is needed. Yes.
I really ask that because I believe that where God is calling us to, even just as a continent, will take us believing in each other and having people hold, people up and lift each other up, like we can't do this alone. And sometimes we have this culture of people being like, it's me, myself, and I, I'm going to make it, I'm going to empower, I'm going to do, everything is just personal. But then it's to say that if we really are looking for change that lasts, is to say that I have to get people around me. I have to get people to empower me and all of these things. And Mula, would you talk about forgiveness and how forgiveness contributes to total transformation?
So any person, I will talk about forgiving, but let me start with this. Any person wants to be, we are made to be in a family. Where there's a father and a mother.
Yes.
And the father is leading and show you take risk and everything. And a mother is there to cater, to make sure like there's, warm and everything in the family. So a person you grew up in that area because you need both. You need someone to take you for risk and a person to warm and everything. So forgiveness, I started saying how much I needed to forgive, especially because my father wasn't there most of the time. And I started seeing how much I needed to forgive my father until I found myself trying to find fathers everywhere. So that started as a teenager. So I would connect myself to the rapper, but the rapper now was talking my language, was showing me how to take risk and all of that, and that made me go into many stuff. I wouldn't say I was a victim. I would say I went there fully as a choice. But that made me do things that I would never wanted to do, which now, because of what has happened in the past and not correcting my father, forgiveness was the key for me to embrace fatherhood and manhood.
Wow.
So now, and I remember like me thinking about, fatherhood and everything. I was like, I would never, at the same time I was like, I would never be a husband, I'll never be a father. because I'll look around, not in the circle, but I'll look around and say, who has been there as a father figure? You know? And I'll say, and I'll be like, wow, there's no father figure in my life. And I'll try to find different people, mentors, but there won't be any father figure. But remember, for me to hear about that, I had to forgive and say, whatever my father did in my life, it was an injustice. It happened to me, but now I need to take the step and go ahead and allow God to be my father. And allow God to use other fathers to be my father. And also allow even God to use my own father to be my father. But that has to take a process of looking back. That's why I even say, even to leadership, what happens, like we always complain about what our forefathers did. Oh, they didn't do this, A, B, C, D. And that is blocking us to become. Because what happens, what you criticize, you become.
Wow.
But what you praise.
That's really good.
Because we only know what to criticize. And when you criticize, your mind, only your focus is focused on that and what's wrong they're doing. So when you take the power, or when they give you that position, the only thing you will do is you a little bit slow. But you do the same thing because the only thing you know, is that. But what about you take all that energy, you forgive, with that energy, you say, oh, you did a great job. Thank you for raising me. Oh, President So, thank you for giving us this ABC opportunity. Oh, and that will give us an opportunity to say, okay, whenever we will be in the position of leadership, now we'll know. But what else we'll be doing will be we'll be multiplying leaders who are grateful than leaders who are ungrateful. Because a leader who's ungrateful, they always destroy. But a leader who's grateful, they only build. So if ever, even if you are taking the position and you are a leader you're ungrateful, you only destroy. Because the only thing you know is to create ungrateful leaders. But a leader is grateful, you also create grateful leaders. People can be like, oh wow, this has been done. How can we build from there? And I think this is very key. Personally, I think God, I was able to, oh man, it was a journey, able to forgive and to see it not in the perspective of my own personal life, and see if it's in leadership. Eventually, those who are before you, what if I made mistakes, it is good for you. Because as they do the mistakes, you're also observing. But don't criticize. Praise them for what they're doing good and learn from what they're doing wrong and do good.
Do you think that sometimes we criticize because we are hurt? And because we haven't let go?
Yes.
Do you think that?
And I think criticizing makes you feel like you're better than the other person.
You're better than the other
which
person.
Which you're not.
But sometimes it comes from a very deep place of being wounded and hurt. And I think that even just for this language to change, we need to have the language of forgiveness. And it's like super easy to do that because I also feel like the word forgiveness has been made to look like, like a magnitude of stuff that you have to do. And most people say, oh, I can forgive but not forget, which is not scriptural at all. But then how simple is it to forgive?
The scripture that helped me a lot into forgiving. There's a key element. I think 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17 says, now we are new creation, the old is gone, the new is here.
The new has come.
But 16 talks about, we're given the ministry of reconciliation. And it says, now we no longer see people in the eyes of we used to see people in the eyes of flesh, but we see them in the eyes of faith, which is different now. Because, for example, if my father wronged me, I remember I'd forgiven him, but then 2 hours later, he would do the same very thing. And I was reminded about, look at him with the eyes of faith. What does it mean? It means now, whenever I look at him, I don't look at him of what he's doing right now. I look at what he would become. Which I say, okay, now he's a good father, a caring father, a loving father. I will only focus my mind to that. It doesn't mean I won't address what he did, but I will address it in a different way. Because when I address it when I'm hurt and I'm seeing him, I was like, you never amount to anything. I know we've heard this in our homes. You never amount to anything because what they're seeing the person there, they're not seeing what the person can become, which is faith. So the key element in forgiving is faith. And in forgiveness, there's giving. Give it. It's a gift. Give it to someone and believe in them. I remember I had to forgive and I had to write a letter to my father and telling him, I love you. I want you to see your grandchildren. He's speaking that. Not only writing it down, or believing or writing down and put it there, but also believing that. It's like, I want you to be good. I want to see your grandchildren. I want to see all your sons and daughters. Like, you really believe that. So you are giving something that you've been holding, to someone. And you don't even, there's no conditions, like, I'm giving it to you. Wow. I'm giving to you, and you have it. I think that's key. Faith is key. That's the Bible says, the righteous shall live by faith. Because without faith, there won't be any forgiveness, there won't be any grace, there won't be anything. So basically it means whenever someone wrongs you,
do forgive them.
Forgive means look at them to what they could become,
to what they could
not
be.
who they are.
That's really good, Mula. Wow. And I think that also applies to ourselves, because I feel like sometimes we need to forgive ourselves.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't get to where God wants us to be because, we are just carrying so much guilt and unforgiveness towards ourselves. Have you had moments where you're like, I wish I had done better, and you felt like it actually blocked you from becoming that person?
Yes. And let me say this, forgiveness and repentance, let me add that word of changing of the mind, is something that I think I've embraced.
Yes.
And when you say, oh no, I'll repent in 3 years or 2 years, basically what you're saying is a fixed mindset. I will grow in 3 years.
I'll grow in 3 years.
I will change, or I'll do things better in 3 years. So repentance is a good word. It means I was doing things this way, but changing is not the right way. I was doing things that would hurt people, now I'm not doing so. So it's changing, it's growing. So I'll say forgiving others is key. Forgiving yourself is even more very key. Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of young people, I mean, I found myself there a couple of times. I'm limited to move forward because I'm feeling like, oh my God, I should have done this, and sometimes just having all that guilt over things that I should have done better or something. So encouraging you to forgive others and forgive yourself. It's a gift. I love how you put it, that it's a gift. Because now I can imagine, can you imagine when you want to, just make someone so happy, and you go and find like the most precious gift ever, and just give it to them, and there's so much joy in giving, and even just seeing the joy in the person receiving. Now imagine forgiveness as that special gift, as that special treasure, and you're just giving it out to someone. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Now, Mula, I want you to call out the leaders and every person who is watching this, and they're leaders, but then it hasn't really hit them yet. How are you called out? How did you come to that realization that, oopsie, I have much more in me than I have actually thought all this while?
If you click on this link, I'm really serious with this. If you click on this link, or if you want to watch this, basically you are a leader. What I found myself is like, that's good. Is a person, a man of God we met, I think was in Rwanda. And it was like, the way you read your Bible defines who you are sometimes. The way you read it. I'm not saying how much, just the way you read it. Some people read it like, oh, the story of Zacchaeus and Jesus. They're like, Zacchaeus, because they have a certain way. So basically why am I saying this? If you click on this link, if you just go and you see the caption, you click on it, you are a leader. That's all. There's nothing else. Just nurture that and grow in it. And every single person who has breath, you are a leader, because you can lead yourself before you lead anyone.
That's really good.
So if you click on this, you are a leader.
So don't wait for a moment.
If you click on this, I know there are a million people who want to watch this. You are leaders. So stop complaining and be the champions.
I love what Mula said, because sometimes we delay our success and we delay what we have because we are waiting for a moment. I'm waiting for the time I'll be the greatest artist in Africa, and then maybe that will be my moment, and maybe I'll make impact. But then it's just saying that maybe every single day of my life I can make impact. Maybe every single. Someone was giving me a story, how they realized that so in Kenya we call them watchman or watchwoman, the people who sit at the gate. So they realized that they never had food. Every single day they would pass by and they're like, have you eaten? No, I'm good. So this person decided to be making 2 plates of food every single night, and every day they would go give it to that person. And then after some time they started having, the person now opened up to have conversations with him, told him about their family, told him about the state of his heart, and like months later, this person was not only born again, but then there was this change of mindset, and there was this life in him, because they felt like someone actually saw something in me. You know, that person did. You know, they didn't have to wait for like a major light bulb moment, but they were like, I will just use what I have. So I believe that even for each and every person who is hearing this, there's an impact that you can make. No one has to see it, but you know that you know. And you can begin by that, because that is what transformation looks like. You know, wow, this is really good.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I honestly do not want to end this conversation, but Mola, before we end, there's this thought that is coming to my mind, and that thought is unity. And what it takes for our people to be united. Because I believe that there's a fruit we will not see until we embrace unity. And sometimes we can look so much at the calling. Be like, I'm called to do this. You're called to do let's walk our different paths. But I completely believe that I feel like sometimes calling divides us.
Yes.
You know, what does it take for me to actually see the big vision and say, I'm going to embrace you just the way you are, and let's work towards the bigger vision.
I think people need to embrace process than the results.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
I mean, if you start embracing the process, right now we'd say, oh, Africa is the way it is. Process. You know, process.
Yeah.
We won't be like China, won't be like the US, won't be like Europe.
Yeah.
It will be Africa.
Yeah.
With its own process.
Yeah.
So we'll be having our own ways of healing. We'll have our own way of going with our own pace. The other thing I'm going to put, we'll have our own pace. Pace is different, because now some people think, because I mean, I'm married to this very beautiful woman.
She is very beautiful.
She goes, how she is, she has this peace in her. Yeah. She goes very slowly.
Yeah.
For me, I grew up in this family where everything was until now. I started, you know, embracing her pace. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm seeing the fruit of putting our pace together. So we need to go slowly together.
We need to go slowly.
Like, no, we need to change. Yes, change will happen. What about the process? Because sometimes you go slowly because you're like, I want to teach you about patience, perseverance, long suffering. Follow those stuff.
It's long.
So you don't like suffering. Long suffering. So that you won't learn unless you are going to the pace of the pace of God. When we gonna pace, and His pace is different from our own pace. We might be, we're having a 10-year development. This is how things have to be. God can even do it in 1 year. Can even do it in
really good.
24 hours.
Yeah. And what I'm catching is that it's also realizing that we can't do it alone. I might be like, you know, the biggest whatever in my field, but if I don't like collaborate with other people, there's something that we will never see.
Yes, and there's an issue now when we put posters, leaders who are making it out there. Sometimes we tend to magnify the leader and not magnify the process of the leader.
That's good.
So we're like, say this man, this president, he made this. We're like, do you know the system? Do you know who was around him?
Yeah.
And you find out the person who was around him had more influence than him. I'm like, no. Before we put them on the poster, we should know that there's a young man, there's a young woman who's there, who have made the process to be easy for that leader to be there. And that's where working together comes in. I'm not who I am. Let me tell you, I'm nothing. There's a whole system around me. And those people, if they're not there, I'm like, I'm done, I'm lost. Because now what we've seen leaders who are great on stage, but then very a failure at home.
Yeah, true.
Because we've exalted them on stage, and then we forget the process.
The process. And so the people that surround them.
Exactly. So if the support system is good, we don't even have to put them on the poster.
Yeah.
That will exalt itself.
Yeah.
There's a presence when things are being done in the right way.
Yeah. So maybe we need to talk more about the people that are not seen and whose efforts are never seen, you know? Yes. I like that. I really like that. I feel like vision will unite us and will bring us closer to one another, and just that realization that, man, I can't do it alone. Now on to the last one. Okay, they keep coming up.
This is the last one, guys. Last one.
Hopefully. But then how, as a young person, How do you learn priority? How do you learn that this is of first importance and this is of second importance? Because I believe that when they swap, really.
You'll do your own mistakes. I think people don't want to do mistakes. I've done mistakes. I've been doing mistakes.
By the way, we need to embrace failure.
Yes. Yeah. You do mistakes. But I think also value also puts priority. Because what you value, you prioritize.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you value? Okay. So if you're struggling with that area of priority and just feeling like it's a value, yes. Where are your values? Yes. I love that. Oh my God. I don't want to end this conversation, but I have to do that. We will see you definitely in the next episode, and we hope to have Mula another time, and maybe now with Prince here next time.
Yes,
yeah.
Be a pleasure.
Let's talk about relationships. Yes. Let's talk about marriage and just the culture of marriage that works. Anyway, that's it from us today. Make sure to comment down below, share, subscribe, and all of that. And until next time, bye. I don't know if Mula, you have a passing shot in Kirundi.
Mugiri bihe byiza.
What's that?
Mugiri bihe byiza means have a nice times, nice moments.
Yeah.
Mani mahezagire means may God bless you.
Oh, that's good. God bless you. And bye.